Hi, it's Chris from Longship Gaming. FROSTHAVEN has finally arrived. It is indeed very large. I wanted to do a quick video about how I've organized all the play pieces you need to get the adventures to the table very quickly, and most importantly, on the cheap. So stay tuned and I'll tell you how. Okay, I want to level set what I'm doing with this video. So there's a couple of caveats. This assumes that your gigantic copy of FROSTHAVEN is probably never going to leave your home, that you're not going to be traveling with it, that you don't really have a need to keep everything in the box itself. The second being is that you recognize this is what you can call a lifestyle game. You're going to be playing this for quite some time, so you don't mind if this takes a significant amount of space on your shelf. So in the intro, as I said, I pointed to it behind me. That's where I'm keeping this game, on the top shelf of that one rack. It's easy for me to access, but I know that it's never going to get packed back in. It's the same thing I went through with Gloomhaven. So those are the two things to keep in mind about this video. So what I have here in front of me, and this is where I give props to the packaging of FROSTHAVEN, it's far superior to that of Gloomhaven, is that you do have these removable and contained and nested boxes or racks of cards. And they seem to correspond with how frequently you're actually accessing the trays themselves. So the bottom tray has all the add-on heroes, some of the buildings that you can build and so on. This one is the one you're going to definitely be using pretty much every time. So I pull this one out when we're playing. It can stay out. I mean, I need access to the guard deck and to the equipment, and of course to the battle goals all the time, that sort of thing. And of course you'll note that the vast majority of these are not sleeved. They don't need to be. I'm really trying to keep my sleeving to a minimum and only sleeving those cards that I'm actually using during the game. Everything else just gets stored, but I'll get to that in a minute. So props to them for this. So one thing, of course, you know, I'll point out, and I'll point to what we use to actually run the game or get it to the table in an efficient manner. These monster cards, these combat cards, I'm not using them at all. I'm using the app, and I'll point out at the end which app I'm using. I don't plan on accessing these at all. I probably shouldn't even unwrap them, but you never know. The app could break or something could happen. I could actually have a need for the activation cards and the monster stats, again, which remain in the other rack in the box. Items, of course, are going to be much more common as we go along, so these I will be leaving in here for use. So this rack is great, but as I said, because I use the app, let me just get this open here, most of this I'm not going to be using. So my group prefers, I don't use the elemental infusion part of the app. I use the actual physical tokens. My group seems to prefer that. It's just much more for everybody. Not everybody can see the app at the same time. So because we're running off of one tablet, these are pretty important. For the most part, these damage counters, you know, they're there for if a person really wants to use them as a reminder. But again, we're usually using the app for all of these. But of course, you know, the treasure tile and the loot tiles are probably the most important things. Of course, for the scenario counters, those will go on the map as well. So it's really just this section here and these ones that are going to get used a lot. I punched them all out because, well, they look nice, but I don't really have much of a use for them right now. And of course, this setup is fantastic. Again, props to the packaging designers. Now, this one feels a little, well, no, the plastic quality is kind of thin. So my concern is lifting this one out over and over again is going to cause like stress to it, and it's eventually going to crack and break. Hopefully be able to tape it up. But since these are going to come out of the box much more frequently, I'm kind of I'm a little concerned about what the future may hold for them. But overall, very impressed, very pleased with how the organization went. So, that aside, the reason why I think you need better organization for Frosthaven is this sheet here. So, I know they provide all the baggies for the monster standees, or for the enemy standees, and yeah, you can organize things to go nicely flush in the box. This is absolutely insane. You'd spend so much time trying to sort through all the individual baggies for what you need, and to try and figure out which of the tiles that you need. I mean, they are numbered and lettered, but my God, it's just such a jumbled mess. So yes, you could put it back in the box like this, but oof, that's just that's a nightmare. That's not something I could stomach doing every time I try and do that. So it's a nice suggestion that this is possible, but come on, it's really not feasible to play in the game. So with that said, I'd like to show you our storage solutions to quickly get the game to the table. So first of all, and of course the costs, and I'm going to compare the cost to buying official inserts, either MDF or foam board or whatever. So I've gone and priced these out in Canadian dollars to show you the difference between doing this yourself on the cheap and doing it the expensive way, and where you can put your money that you save into having a better time. So this is our character outpost. Yeah, character and outpost, and I have the secret book in there. All the character sheets here, all the boards are here because they fit quite nicely, and of course the elemental infusion board is here as well. They all fit very nicely within this box. These are all dollar store products. They cost very little. So this particular plastic box, not necessarily comes in this color, but from Dollarama here in Canada, will cost you about $3, maybe even less. I can't quite. It's been so long since I bought this. It could have been as low as like $2, $2.50. On a side note, I don't know what they did with these wheels. They just feel so incredibly loose. I might substitute them for the ones from Gloomhaven, because they spin too easily. You know, you put them on your character, kind of trying to keep track of it. It's way too easy to just spin past numbers. So again, I personally prefer using the app for them. So where do we store our cards? These, I have 5 Ultimate Guard 80 card deck cases. These are available in Canada for about $3 each. I didn't pay for any of this up front, right? I paid for this years ago when we started Gloomhaven. But I'm sure, I looked up the current pricing, $3 for these deck cases that come with a divider. In the Outpost one, I've put the buildings that I have available and the City Guard deck, because we know we're going to be using that every session, or pretty much every session. And I'm going to use one of these as an example. While I'm playing the Blink Blade. It's a good lot of room in these 80 card boxes to fit everything you could possibly need. So your overall, your personal goal, all of your future cards, your current cards, these are the ones that I actually sleeve for use in the deck, because you are shuffling them quite often. Modifier cards that may come up in the future, just left them in the package that they came in. And then I, of course, would sleeve all of the combat modifier cards. Again, they're going to get used a lot. I had these sleeves previously, so I just recycled them from Gloomhaven. And one thing I'm not really going to sleeve are the equipment cards, because they're not ever going to get shuffled. So they're never going to look bad. And of course, down to the bottom, we have our time. Almost lost one there. Sometimes you have to dig these out. They're right at the bottom. Your time and your character tokens for ongoing abilities. They fit very nicely, and when you have classes like the Bone Shaper that has a lot of pets and therefore has a lot of cards, they fit quite nicely into that box too. So it's snug and it's easy to access and it's way better than the tuck boxes that the game comes with. So get yourself some deck boxes and store your characters. Next, monster or enemy organization. So these two Planos, I don't know if every dollar store is going to have these, but there's got to be something in the equivalent. These are larger than the ones that are generally available from our Dollaramas. And luckily I bought two of them because I did not know just how many monsters there were in Frosthaven, or different kinds of enemies compared to that of Frosthaven. And of course the sizes as well. I needed this big one to be able to fit all these. I divided them up in the way that seemed, you know, sensible. So like here's all the Algox up top here. It also fits all these initiative counters and all of the standees that you could possibly need. So that's a lot of creatures. Each one of these was about $4.50. $4.50 or $5. I'm going to say you might as well err on the fact that these are probably going to be about $5. So you're going to need two of these for sure to fit and organize all of the monsters. If your local Dollarama doesn't have it, check around. I've been back into mine, and I think I must have bought, between this and another game, I probably bought all the ones that they had over the course of a month. So these might be a little difficult to get a hold of. Much more solid latches, much more solid hinges on the back. These will last me a good long time, I feel. Now, if you can't get these, and for demonstration purposes, here are, it is really remarkable, here are the enemy standees from Gloomhaven in comparison. So you'd probably need, I'm going to say at least 3 of the older ones to, or the smaller ones that I know that they currently have, to fit all of the monsters. Just seeing what kind of size comparison here between them, which is, it's significant to say the least. They're about the same height, but you're losing, you know, several compartments, and you will need more of these. Trying to dig, can you imagine trying to dig the monsters out of, or the enemies out of the baggies in the box as they describe in that pamphlet? Yeah, not great. So I would strongly suggest 2 of these $5 ones. These ones I think are about $3.50, $4, or three of these ones should be enough to fit all of your enemies. And lastly, as far as storage goes, I know that there is a very nice looking map portfolio out there, but again, I went around to my local dollar store. Let's see if this fits in here, and I got this handled folio that locks. This has 19 accordioned pockets, and they fit everything very nicely. So what I've done, and it was $6. Oh no, actually, sorry, it was only like, it was $5 in a variety of colors. I don't know how much it would stand up to a lot of wear because it is just cardboard, but as you can see here, I was able to number each one of these sections. There was enough, of course, so there's 16 different map tile types, so they all fit in there nicely. Even the taller ones, like the 16s here, don't brush up against the top. It's very snug. I put our campaign and alchemy sheets into this one section here, into section 17. And then in the back, I have my reusable stickers and the stickers to the book that are not reusable. And of course, right in the back, I had that leftover pamphlet and the permanent stickers that come with the game. I'm also dropping the tiles from the campaign guide, or the campaign advent calendar, as we like to call it, into there. So I'm saving them. I know they can't be stuck back on, but I'm just saving them for now, in case we ever want to pass this on, since we have the removable stickers. So yeah, so $6 excellent, no, $5. Excellent deal. Even better deal than I thought. So how does this compare to, let's say you want to buy one of the officially licensed foam core or MDF? So to give you a rundown, what I would have spent if I had not already had a lot of these pieces. So you're looking at the 5 tuck boxes, the Ultimate Guard boxes, are $3 each. So it's $15 there. The boxes, I'm going to say $3 now. The Planos, 2 of these big ones for $10, or 3 of the smaller ones for $12, and the storage file is $5. So overall, you're looking at 45 Canadian dollars to store your Frosthaven in a way that personally I find is a quick way to get to the table. So we played 2 sessions. We played 0 and 1, and using this method, very low setup time. We hadn't really, especially Gloomhaven, even though we had a similar setup, I wasn't able to get it set up quite as quickly. I found that it's much faster in this edition, so I thank them for that. But we were able to play 2 of the snares in one evening, which was unusual. Yeah, I know 0 is pretty straightforward, but we had people playing who are, we were out of practice, and we had a new person at the table figuring it out. So let's compare that, shall we? And I won't show I'm not going to mention the names of the companies, but you can get a organizer for the box and a separate map archive. The organizer of the box appears to be foam core, a very dense foam core, but still foam core. That'll run you $111 Canadian. There are MDF, which would massively increase the weight of the box. It's already 37 pounds. I can't imagine how much this would add to it. So an MDF organizer, I'm not sure if it's meant to fit everything, including the map tiles. That goes for 175 Canadian. And these were the cheapest prices I could find shopping online. So you're essentially almost paying for the game over again for those kind of storage options. Whereas in a DIY method, you can get all this for $45 or even cheaper if you already have it. You might have this stuff, especially the boxes or the file, lying around in your home. It's remarkably cheap. So what to do with the extra money that you saved? Well, I'm going to strongly suggest the Foreteller app. So Foreteller, if you don't know, they provide professional voiceovers to campaign board games, and they've produced one for Frosthaven. Yes, the dialogue can be a little bombastic and melodramatic, but you know what? It adds a hell of a lot of atmosphere to playing this game than rather me just drying out my mouth and reading all the descriptions, which gets kind of boring. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth it. In Canada, it's about $20. Definitely worth it. So take the money that you're saving on organization, which you will need, and put it towards Foreteller. Another way to get this to the table very easily is to use the app rather than using the cards. I understand. Like, there's something extremely tactile about and satisfying, and I do for most board games, to be able to touch the cards and touch the minis. You know, some people have that great aptitude for viewing all these pieces and seeing what you need to see at a glance. And yes, it's fantastic. However, it takes up so much space. When you're playing with 4 people, with the map, with your tokens and so on that you need to be pulling out all the time, and then you've got, 4 or 5 different monster cards, plus their decks, etc., etc., etc. That is a lot of upkeep. That's a lot of tokens and a lot of space on the table. So I strongly suggest using an app. And in this case, I'm going to strongly suggest not using the official app. I had a look at the official Frosthaven app. It is not very well rated. People are pointing out tons of bugs with it. There is another one, a fan-created app called X-Haven that has Frosthaven, Gloomhaven, Crimson Scales, all, like everything. in it and is extremely easy to use. And most of all, it's free and it's accurate. I think I have just one quibble, though. I have to look at the documentation to see whether or not this works. But I did notice that, say, wounding didn't, when the enemy activation ended, it didn't drop their health. So I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, so that's my tips for this. You know, get your organization done before you try and play this. Do it on the cheap and take that money that you saved and put it towards the Foreteller app. It's a lot of fun. I would love to hear from you in the comments how you have organized your Frosthaven to get it as quickly to the table as possible, and of course also to ease the cleanup. Always looking for tips. If I can, eke out even a few more minutes of getting ready to take that from setup and tear down and put it into gameplay, I will do it. So, thanks very much for watching. If you, of course, if you don't have Frosthaven, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I know it's going to be at retail soon. I think it's about 160, the cheapest I saw it in Canada. It is amazing, especially if you've never played Gloomhaven. I think Frosthaven is a great place to start because it's so it's such an iterative improvement on what Gloomhaven provided, and Gloomhaven was very, very, very good. This so far already has blown me away after the 2 sessions. So there you have it. Hopefully this helps you, and until next time, happy gaming. Thank you so much for watching Longship Gaming. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It will really help the channel to grow and improve. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when more Longship Gaming content goes live. Until next time, happy gaming.